And look how cute. And there is Ralph Lauren Christmas on a Budget. If we're being honest, guys, I think the foam squares is the way to go. Look at that. How stinking cute that would be. Cute. Look how cute. Have you been hearing all about Ralph Lauren Christmas like I have? Well, if this is the case and you want to decorate for Christmas Ralph Lauren style, but you're doing it on a budget, this is the video for you. In today's tutorial, I'm going to not bring you one, not two, but three Ralph Lauren inspired Christmas projects on a budget that I think you all are going to adore. If you're new here, my name is Lauren and I'm a craft producer here at Makers Gonna Learn, where we strive to bring you inspiration, education, and motivation to get your Cricut or die cutting machine out and actually get some use out of it. The three projects that we're gonna be making today are projects that are going to elevate your decor no matter what. So first, we're going to take a plain dish towel and utilize our print and cut capabilities with our Cricut and use some printable HTV along with some foil HTV to turn this into a show-stopping piece in your kitchen. Next, we're going to be making gift wrap bows, but elevated and Ralph Lauren style, where we take a Ralph Lauren inspired ribbon and add a little bit of decoration here with a monogram. I think you all are going to be obsessed. And then finally, the last one that we are going to be making is a sign, very similar to this one that you see here. It is so easy to do, and I cannot wait to show you exactly how to do that. So let's go ahead and start with our first project, and we're gonna start with our dish towels. For this project, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be using print and cut, meaning we are going to need some printable HTV. We adore the Caesar Easy Color DTV. It is our favorite printable HTV, so we're gonna be using this. So you will need some type of printable HTV. If you don't have any and need to purchase some, make sure you get the Caesar Easy Color, hands down our favorite. Next up, to add a little bit of bling to our dish towel, we are going to be using this foil HTV. You can see we have two different colors of gold here. Both of these are T Vinyl Warehouse. You can see here, we got this from Amazon. Y'all, it weeds like butter. This HTV weeds like a dream. If you haven't gotten your hands on some of this, check the link down below. Go ahead and grab you some. It is phenomenal. Other than that, you are going to need some type of Cricut mat. This is a brand new light grit mat, so it has quite a bit of tack to it. We're gonna be using that. And then the last thing that you are going to need is your Cricut Mini Easy Press to iron your vinyl down. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and hop over into Design Space and start designing this project. And then once we have this completed, we'll go on to the other ones. Now that we are here in Design Space, you can kind of get an idea of what all of our projects are going to look like, but I'm just going to go ahead and hide these and we'll talk about these here in just a little bit, because we are going to start here with our Christmas tree. Now, this is the end product that we are going to get to. So before we start designing, let's go ahead and hop over to Makers Gonna Learn and let's start grabbing everything that we need for this project. So we're going to start here in the cut files section, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type in tartan, and we're going to choose which plaid we like. We have two different options here. We have the red, green, and blue, and then we have the blue, green, and red. They're very similar. One has more green at the base, whereas this one has a blue at the base versus the green. So you choose which one of these you like. I think I'm going to go with this red, green, and blue. So I'm going to click this arrow pointing down to download this file. You can see here, well, I'll go ahead and download both of them so that you can see them all up close. So this is our first one. And then here is the second one, kind of side by side blown up. You can see this one is just darker than this one. You have more green. So I'm going to go with this red, green, and blue versus this one for this project. But we're going to pop back over here because there are a few more files that we need. Now, These files are also going to be linked down below for you. If you are a Makers Gonna Learn member, you can go ahead and click those links down below. If you are not a Makers Gonna Learn member, now is a great time for you to go ahead and get signed up. And y'all, you can get signed up for $7. You can do a trial for MGL Plus, and you can get access to all of these files for $7. You are going to get 7 days access to the MGL Plus membership, and I promise you're not going to regret it. Now, the second one that we're going to grab is going to be the Bushy Christmas tree. So let's just type in Bushy Christmas tree. If you don't like this one, you can just type in Christmas tree and find the silhouette of a Christmas tree that you like. This is the one that I'm going to be using today. You can see it here, but there are a lot of different silhouettes of Christmas trees that you can use. You pick your favorite, but for this one, we're going to download here. Once again, clicking that arrow pointing down. And then the last thing that we need to grab is going to be a font for our monogram. So we're going to be using the Venetian font. I just typed in the first few letters of Venetian, and here it is. It's the Venetian monogram. Once again, going to be linked down below. You're going to click that arrow pointing down. Now for fonts, it's a little bit different than files. We do need to come up here, and if you are on a PC, you need to make sure that you extract that font. For Mac users, all you have to do is double click that to install a font. Once it's pulled up, you're going to click install. I already have it installed, so I don't have to install it. But once you have that font installed, we can hop back over to Design Space and we can start the design process. So first thing we are going to do is we're going to come over here to Uploads. We are going to upload image, and I'm going to pull my Finder back into view. Once I pull my Finder back into view, I'm going to find that Christmas tree SVG. I'm going to drag and drop it, continue, and then upload that to our computer. After I have done that, I'm going to come back over here to Uploads, Upload Image, and then I'm going to pull in the tartan that I want. We're going with the red, green, and blue here. Continue, applying, continue. We want this one as a flat graphic. And then once you have chosen that, we're going to upload it to our canvas. Now that we have uploaded that Christmas tree and our tartan to the canvas, the last thing that we need to do is make sure that we have the Venetian fonts. And actually, I'm just going to delete these two out. We will pull a text box in, and let me bring all of this over here so we can see it. And then I'm just going to come up here to our fonts, and I'm going to search for that Venetian font. There it is. And here is our text. What we want to do now is I want to print this tree with this tartan fabric PNG. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it forward, and I'm just going to place it as large as I can, and then we will size it down. It does not need to be this large. We will size it here in a minute, but I do want to size it up so that I can get all of the plaid, as much of the plaid as I can inside this Christmas tree. So I'm just going to line it up, size it as large as I can. And then once I have done that, I'm going to select both of those layers. We can tell that both layers are selected because they are both green over here on the layers panel. And then we're going to click slice. Now, after you have clicked slice, we can now see that we have this same Christmas tree in this plaid. Next thing we want to do, I want to have a circle in the middle of the Christmas tree to put my monogram. So I'm going to come over here to shapes. We're going to grab a circle. You can turn this into a guide. So what we can do is turn that into a guide, and we will zoom in so that you all can see this better. And now we size our guide up as large as we want. We also want to line it up. Now, one thing I will say with this file, let's say we select both of these. If we go over here to align and center them horizontally, it does seem like I still have a little bit more room on the right side than I do the left. So I'm not going to actually use that alignment tool. I'm just going to eyeball it and align this as best as I can where I want this circle. And then after I have chosen exactly where I want it, I'm going to select both layers. I can tell they're both selected from our layers panel. Once again, come down here to slice, and I'm going to slice that out just like that. Now I am ready to go ahead, and I'm going to pull my text box down away from here, and we'll bring it to the front. I'm going to type in the letter of the monogram that I want. I'm just going to do a B, and I'm going to size it up and place it inside this circle. Now, I don't really want it overlapping at all, so we're just going to place it inside the circle so that it fits there. You can change the color. I can change it to this gold color to kind of give an idea of what it looks like. And y'all, that is it. We can delete that tree. We can delete these slice results, and we are ready to start the process of printing and cutting this design. We do have to size it. So we do have to measure and size our design properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these apart. You will need some type of measuring tape. So what I like to do when I'm measuring, especially for like a tea towel, I want to fold it the way that it is going to be folded when it hangs either on wherever you put it, whether it hangs on a hook in a bathroom or hangs somewhere in the kitchen. With this type of dish towel, you have tassels on one side. So if you wanted to, we could probably fold about right there. I don't know that bringing them all the way together is going to be best. Okay, so honestly, the more I try to fold this, the more I don't really care for it. So I think I'm just gonna take some scissors and I'm just gonna cut these tassels off. You don't have to purchase these dish towels. To be real honest, these specific dish towels are probably not gonna be linked down below because I don't really know where they came from. I think they came from Pop Shelf. I'm almost positive they came from Pop Shelf, but you can use whatever dish towels you want. I just noticed after I was folding these, I didn't really like where those tassels were, so I'm gonna just take those off. And we're gonna do a plain dish towel. Thankfully, it doesn't really damage this dish towel. It's like it's just tied into the corner, so once I cut the tassel, I can just untie that, and it's good as new. Nothing wrong with it. Now, back to measuring. I like to fold my dish towel the way that I'm going to hang it. I normally do like a tri-fold, bringing the edges together in the middle and the back, and then fold it over, just like this. So what I want to do to get the measurement, I want to measure how large I want the Christmas tree to be. So I'm gonna grab my measuring tape. The area that I'm going to put this Christmas tree, we'll do 6 by 8. So back in design space, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a shape. I'm going to make this shape. I'm gonna unlock the size aspect ratio here. We said 6 by 8. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna select both of these layers, and we can actually change this. Let's turn this into a guide so that we can see our area. Now let's select both of these here. We're gonna bring them over and we're gonna size them both down together and place it right there where we want it, kind of in the area of the kitchen towel that we've measured. So now it is sized properly. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that guide, and we are going to go to the Make It screen. We are printing this with our inkjet printer. We are gonna be printing this. And then this is going to be cut out on HTV, so we need to make sure we click mirror, but we're gonna start here. We're gonna go to continue. I'm gonna go ahead and load my material into my printer. After I have loaded my material, I'm gonna click send to print. We're gonna go to next. With this one, I am turning the bleed on because I don't want any white showing. And then we are gonna use system dialog, and then we're gonna click print. It will then pull up behind here. I'm going to be feeding this from the rear tray, and I want my quality to always be best, and then I'm gonna click print. I'm so excited to see how these colors turn out on this printable vinyl. Oh, so pretty. Now it looks like, at first I thought the top was cut off, but that's just where we added the bleed so that we can make sure that we get all of that color, but that is so pretty. So we're gonna bring it back over here to the Cricut. What I'm doing now is I'm going to grab my mat. We're going to place it down in the top left corner of our mat. I'm gonna grab my brayer, and we're gonna bray this down really well. And before I send that through, I want to decide what gold. Oh, it's the light. Oh, I don't know. That yellow gold kind of looks pretty with this. I'm going lighter gold though. So we're gonna go ahead and send this through for our Cricut to cut. I am going to be cutting this on everyday iron-on cut setting. Now, one thing I love to do is while that is cutting, I love to go grab a second mat to go ahead and have my other material loaded. It just helps with the workflow process and getting things done a little bit quicker. So I've got a second mat here. I'm gonna go ahead and put our foil HTV on this second mat and go ahead and turn on my Cricut Mini Easy Press to a heat setting of 2. I also love to clean as I go so that it keeps my work area a little bit more, especially if I'm working on multiple projects at a time. It just keeps it all working and flowing a little easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up as well. Now, we're gonna check this. I almost feel like I need an extra cut. It's almost like it's not pulling away as easy, but let's maybe send it one more time. Let's send it one more time. So we're gonna hit this flashing play button again, and we're gonna cut it one more time. And I'm just kind of going to wipe off some of this debris. Now that time was a lot better. It's still a little stuck right there, but I've got a solution. So I'm gonna bring it over here. Let's go ahead and unload it. Now, before I start kind of playing around with this one, I'm gonna go ahead and load this in here. We are also cutting this HTV on everyday iron-on. And then I am gonna grab my True Control knife for this. And I'm just going to separate this. Beautiful. Then we're gonna press play. While that is cutting, I'm going to weed this out, and I'm actually going to leave it on the mat. I don't know if it's something with this machine, but I will say we have been having a few little issues with the blades the last day or so. So normally, this Caesar Easy Color DTV weeds like a dream. I don't think that this is the material. I think that we need to figure out what's going on with this machine. But you can see I'm just using my True Control knife. It's just kind of like these little areas. It's like the adhesive didn't get cut all the way through. So I'm just going through and just making these little tiny slices where it didn't go all the way through the adhesive. And I say adhesive because this material is like, I don't know if you all can see, but it's like stretching a little bit when I'm trying to. Do you see where it's kind of? Now you do need to be careful over here where it is thinner, where the circle meets this edge. And there is our tree weeded. Now let's go ahead. Once again, we always want to double check, especially if your machine has been giving you issues. We want to double check our cuts. And once again, it does not look like it's cut all the way through, so I'm gonna hit play again and do a second cut. After you have unloaded your design, what we are going to do is we are going to weed this out. I'm just gonna weed the insides. And do you all see how well this material weeds? So beautifully. Especially with an intricate design like this, having a good vinyl is very important. I'm going to grab my True Control knife and I'm just gonna cut this off the top here. And I'll just go ahead and weed the rest of this out. And after we have weeded that, we are now ready to place this on our dish towel. So I'm gonna bring my dish towel in. I have my, kind of have it sit. Let's make sure we open it up, and I'm gonna put it just kind of right here in the center, and that's how I will fold it. I'll fold it in half right now so that you all can see a little bit better. Now, I will say, when you are doing printable heat transfer vinyl, you can pull this straight off of the sheet and lay it down. You are still gonna need some type of protective layer because you can't do the heat press right on top of that. Obviously, it will melt it. So whether that is, with this one, it would be possible to lift it up and not have heat transfer tape. Now, you do have to have very specific transfer tape with this. You can't just use any regular transfer tape. It has to be heat resistant transfer tape. This is the Caesar brand that comes along with that material. And what you could do is you could even cut it in half. And we might just do that so we're not wasting a whole sheet. So I'm just going to cut this piece in half. We can save that other side for later. I'm going to take the backer off of it just like you would any other transfer tape. I'm going to make sure we don't have any fuzz anywhere. We're going to lay this down. Now, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and place, no, we'll just do it in layers. So we're gonna go ahead and line this up here where we want it, kind of centered. Take our mini easy press, heat setting of 2. And we are going to press this onto our tea towel or kitchen towel. Once we have done that, peel this up. Now, it does kind of have a shiny look. Let me turn you around so that you all can see. It does kind of have a shiny look to it right now, but we can actually matte this when we grab, I'll go grab a Teflon sheet and we can matte this. So 2 seconds. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my bee right here in the center, and then I'm going to grab a Teflon sheet, cover this, and we're gonna press that bee on there. I just want to protect the actual Christmas tree part. And once we have done that, you can see how that Teflon sheet kind of matted that. You can actually see the difference. And we'll probably take the Teflon sheet. Can you all see right here where the Teflon sheet did not touch? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna place this Teflon sheet back down, and we're just gonna give it a good once over one more time. Because I kind of want it all of the tree to be a little matte. And look how cute. And there is Ralph Lauren Christmas on a Budget project number 1 completed. I think this is such a cute and easy way to add an extra touch to just like a kitchen towel or a bathroom towel, whatever. Obviously, this is going to be for decorative purposes only. You're not going to want to use this as a towel that you get wet all the time or whatever. So, but I'm obsessed. For the second Ralph Lauren inspired Christmas on a Budget project that we're going to be making is going to be something that you can use to elevate your gift wrap. So here is what we have going. So it is a bow with Ralph Lauren inspired, kind of like a tartan plaid. And what we're gonna be doing with this bow is we're gonna be making a tag that is going to go right here in the middle. You see this jump ring that I have right here? We're gonna hang it from the middle, and we're gonna be using Mylar and cardstock. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. I think this is going to be a phenomenal project once we get to the end. So let's go ahead and jump in Design Space and let's set everything up. Now that we are back here in Design Space, we are ready to go ahead and hide this project because we're no longer doing it. And I'll bring in our other project here so that you can kind of get an idea of what I'm going for. So here is where we want to be, and I'm going to show you exactly how to get there. This gray, I'm envisioning that clear Mylar, and then this B, I'm envisioning the gold mirror cardstock. So to get to where we're at, first thing we need to do is we need to grab the font that we are going to be working with. And today we're going to be working with the MGL font Heporn, Heporne. So we're going to hop over to the Maker's Gonna Learn website here. We are already in our font section. So if you're not, you need to go to your font section up here on the top, and then we are going to type in the font name. This is the font that we are going to be using. Once again, you're going to click that download icon and you're going to download that font if you don't have it already. After you have downloaded your font, we're just going to come back over here to Design Space. We're going to grab a text box. We're going to go to our system fonts. We are going to look for our font. And with Maker's Gonna Learn, we do all of our fonts with MGL in front of it. Here it is. Beautiful. After you have done that, all you're going to do is type in the letter that you are going to be making this for. We'll do one B and we'll do an M. And actually with this font, hear me out. I normally don't tell you to stretch fonts. We want to unlock this size aspect ratio here. I do kind of like this M a little bit skinnier. So if you notice that the letter you're using is pretty thin, all you have to do is hop back over to the Maker's Gonna Learn website, especially if you are an MGL member. You have access to these fonts all the time. If you're not, I highly suggest going ahead and trying out that $7 trial. I don't think you're going to regret it at all. But what I love is I can type in the letter that I'm wanting to use here and go to preview, and I can go through and preview all of our fonts and decide which one I think is going to be best. Now, I will say for this particular project, I do think a serif font is going to look the best. And what a serif font is that means that it is a pretty bold, basic font, but it has the ticks at the top and the bottom. So this would be considered a serif font. M's are going to be kind of hard with serif fonts because there are a lot of thin strokes with the letter M. But I do love that I can just quickly go through here and figure out which one is going to work instead of downloading 3 that I think might work and none of them really working. Rowan seems to be like a pretty good one. It still has kind of a thinner side to it. Now, if you're not going for the Sunny June is really cute. So let's see if we can we'll just download Sunny June. We're going to pop back over to Design Space. I don't know if we have Sunny June, so let's see if we can. We do have Sunny June. I do like Sunny June as well. And once again, I do think some letters you can kind of stretch a little bit, not all letters, but we're going to try to get an accurate representation of how large this is. So we have it set here. What we want to do next is I'm going to add an offset. Now, this offset is going to be your Mylar. So you want it to be a pretty decent offset. I think 0.25 is good. Let's see what 0.3 looks like. You could even go 0.3 if you wanted to go 0.25, which I did like. I don't like those cutouts in the middle. So we're just going to apply the 0.25 with the offset selected. If you'll come down here to contour and hide all contours, you can contour out those 2 pieces. And now we have a solid offset we can place this on. Now, once again, each letter is going to be different. With the B, it was really easy for me to add this circle. With the M, I might have a little bit more of an issue because of this dip here, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our shapes. We are going to grab a circle. We are going to size this circle down quite a bit. This circle is going to represent the center portion of where our jump ring is going to go. That circle is what it's going to hang from. So once you've done that, we're going to come back up here to offset. Now, it's hard for me to see because that offset is right there. So I'm going to move it down here. We're going to once again select the circle, come up here to offset. I think we might go 0.3 for this circle offset just because I do want it to be a little bit larger. I'm going to apply that. But I'm going to select both circles and I'm going to move it down into this middle portion just a little bit here, like that. After I have done that, now with the B, I didn't have to move it down. I didn't have a lot of room to work with, but you do want to move those down together. And the reason you want to move those down together is because you want it to all be proportioned properly, but we are not going to select the circle. I am going to be working from my layers panel over here. It's always easier when you have placed everything or positioned everything where you want it to go, it's always easier to work from your layers panel. So I'm going to zoom in so you all can see the magic happen. So I'm going to select my offset. Holding my shift key down, I'm going to select the offset with the M as well. Coming down here to combine, I'm going to unite those two together. Now you're like, oh my gosh, Lauren, what's going on? I don't understand what you have done. Perfectly fine. I have united those together. Now, if you want this center portion to be taken away, you will have to take it another step, and you're actually going to have to go ahead and either we'll undo the unite portion, but if you want to contour out that center piece, what you're going to need to do is instead of unite, you're actually just going to have to weld. If you do go ahead and unite, you can merge those layers. That's the same thing as weld, but we will just go ahead and weld those together. We have that set pretty well. And now you can see we have the contour feature back. So now I can go ahead and hide that contour, and you're still like, but Lauren, I don't know what's going on. Now that I have moved that behind the M, are you seeing the vision? So the last thing we need to do is select the circle and that weld result of the offset. And we need to come down here. You can either slice it out, or you can come down here to combine and you can exclude. So now you can see we have our circle where our jump ring is going to hang there. This is going to be our Mylar layer. Our M is going to be the M is going to represent the gold cardstock. So what I can do, we can even change it to gold so that you can see it. And now we are ready to cut. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut both the B and the M. I do want to check on my sizing, make sure my sizing is correct. So right now we're looking at 3.6, 3.5, a little bit over 3.5 by 4. I do think that's a little bit large when I put it in comparison with my bow. So I'm just going to size it down maybe to 3 or a little bit above 3 inches. Same thing with this, and you want to size them all together. So this is 3 inches by 3.9. I think that's pretty good. We may go just a little bit smaller. And now we are ready to cut both of these letters. So we're going to go to make it. From here, we don't have to mirror anything. So this is both going to be cut with Mylar. I am going to separate them out just a little bit to give a little bit more room. Same thing with our letters, just going to separate them out just a little bit. But then we're going to come back here. We're going to go to continue. Now the base material, I'm going to set this as Mylar. And I am actually going to cut this on more pressure just because our machine has been giving us a little bit of issues. So I want to make sure that we cut this on more pressure. Now I did go grab a strong grip mat because we do need a strong grip mat for the Mylar. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I think I'm just going to take the protective layer off of the front. I'm not going to take it off of the back just yet. And I'm going to use the protective layer that I'm going to place it down on the mat so that we don't get any like sticky residue on the clear Mylar. And I'm going to grab my brayer and we're going to bray this down. After we have done that, you can see the shiny. I'm going to place this in our machine. And then once again, I'm going to use our light grip mat. I'm going to go ahead and place our cardstock down on our light grip mat so that it's ready to go once that is finished.
So now that we are ready to cut, I did go grab a strong grip mat just to put the Mylar down on the strong grip mat. So I'm going to lay it down here just like this. We're going to grab our brayer, bray that down on our mat, and now we're going to bring it over here to our Cricut, and we're just going to cut this on the Mylar cut setting. Now, before I unload, I am going to double check this cut. And it did not, so we're just going to press play and send it through one more time. And that time it got it, so we're going to go ahead and unload. And while you are here, we're going to go ahead and put medium cardstock is the cut setting for this mirrored cardstock. So we've set this to medium cardstock, and then we will play that. You can check that. That should have cut through and it did beautifully. But once we are done there, I'm gonna come back over here. Let's go ahead and unload this from our mat. Look how stinking cute. Now you do need to be careful with your thin letters like this. Come over here a little bit closer and let's see. Look how cute this is. I don't know if you all can see it. How cute. Now what I am gonna do with this, I think I want to use some foam squares on the back to make it look a little bit more raised, so it's like 3-dimensional. So I'm gonna grab some foam squares. Now if you plan on people seeing the back, there's a lot of ways that you can add this on. We'll try a couple different ways. I'll show you what it looks like with foam squares, and then maybe we'll see if we don't like it, we'll try a different method. So let's put the M on with foam squares. And then we may just use hot glue for the other one. See how that looks. We'll see. We may really like the look of the foam squares. So I will say I might need something at the bottom of this M. So I'm gonna grab one of these little teeny tiny guys and I'm gonna place it right there. Oh, that's perfect. And then take that off. Beautiful. Oh yeah. If we're being honest, guys, I think the foam squares is the way to go. Look at that. Look how beautiful. I don't know if you, which you can see the foam squares and you will be able to kind of see the foam squares on the back. But look at that. Imagine this on your gift wrap. Now, after you have done that, do we want to do this one flat? Let's go ahead and grab some hot glue and we'll see if we can do this one flat. Actually, let's not do hot glue. Let's grab our double-sided adhesive and put this one on with double-sided adhesive. And here is what it would look like with just double-sided adhesive. I still think it's beautiful. It looks a little bit more finished, I guess, on the back if you're worried about it from this side, but I love the 3D look of this one. So after you have done that, what you are going to do, whatever ribbon you decide to choose or make, if you don't have any jump rings hanging around, don't worry, you can still do this with ribbon if you wanted to. But we do have these jump rings and I think it's just gonna really elevate this design. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna place that jump ring inside that. We're gonna close that up. I don't feel like I have to have these jump rings pretty much, that is kind of thin there. So we may need to grab some pliers. So I've just got some pliers here. And I'm just gonna close this together. And then once I have done that, I have another jump ring on here. Just gonna place that in there. Then I'm also gonna close up this jump ring. And I'm gonna move that behind there. And y'all, look how stinking cute that would be on a gift. I mean, honestly, I am obsessed. And then you can personalize all your gifts, elevate the gift wrapping so much. I'm in love. I love that. Here is a better view of it. I'm not holding it down as much. Look how cute. I can just see this on a gift. It's so pretty. And y'all, our third and final project for our Ralph Lauren inspired Christmas on a budget is going to be this beautiful sign. Now, this is one that we kind of just came up with last minute for Tanner and Courtney's house, but it's such an easy one to recreate. So we had to make sure that we taught you guys how to do it. So for this project, what you are going to need is, we started out with a poster frame from Walmart. if you watched any of our videos from Vlogtober, you saw this frame being used for the poster collage, like an easy gift. We are using that same frame, or the exact same one, not the exact same frame, but we are using that same frame. So you are going to need a poster frame or some type of frame. Next, you are going to need about a yard of fabric. We have a beautiful tartan plaid here, very traditional, very Ralph Lauren theme, but you are going to need some type of fabric from your local craft store. We have a couple different options here. I think I would rather go with this one. And then from there, you are going to need a pennant banner, or not a pennant banner, but it's got grommets on it. You can also get these at Hobby Lobby. We'll have a couple linked down below. This one is white, and I'm gonna show you the difference. So this one, and you can see how we kind of finished it. We actually ended up just gluing it and stapling it back here, but I'll show you, I'll take it apart and show you how we did it. This one is more of a natural color versus this one, white. We went with a natural color for this one because this plaid has more of a natural tone to it. So you really, when you are designing this, you need to think about that. With this fabric, that natural tone wouldn't have looked as good. So we actually decided, because it does have white in it, we decided that the white banner would look better on this one. So that's why we're going with white instead of natural. Another quick little hack that I want to show you guys, or let's say that out. Other than that, the only other thing that the last few things that you are going to need is some type of HTV. We are going with regular red Caesar HTV for our flag. And then you will need a mini easy press or some type of heat source to put your HTV on your banner. Now, let me show you a little hack when it comes to these banners, especially if you get them from Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna turn you around. I don't know if you all can see these holes in this banner flag. You definitely can. I almost lost it when I saw these, and this is just how they packaged this banner. If this happens to you and you do this, here's a little trick of the trade. Take your finger, you watching? Scratch it. Move those fibers around. Where'd that hole go? Look at this one. I know you can see that one. Watch. Where'd it go? It's no longer there. So if this happens to you, that is just the fibers have been separated. You can easily kind of scratch. Some of areas may be picked, but for the most part, you can kind of manipulate and move those fibers around, and you can cover that hole up. So just a little trick of the trade. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and hop over to Design Space. We're gonna grab the font that we're gonna be using from Makers Gonna Learn website, and then we are going to type out our little sentiment that is going to go on our flag. Now that we are back here in Design Space, we're just gonna hit done on that, and we are going to go ahead. Let's just group these together. We're gonna hide these. We're going to group and hide because we no longer need those, but we are going to be creating our flag here. So first thing that you need to do, and I'm going to show you how to do this, you need to measure your flag. The one that we have is 17 by 12 inches. So we're just going to grab a shape. Once again, this is something that we do quite often here. You're going to grab a shape. You're going to make it the same size of your blank that you are putting anything on. So ours was 17 by 12, and that is going to represent your flag. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. We're going to bring this in. I'm going to make it white because that is the color of our flag. And now we're going to hop over to the Makers Gonna Learn website, and we're going to grab the font that we're going to be working with. So now that we are here on the MGL website, we're going to come over here to fonts. The font that we're using today is Signature. So we're just going to type in Signature. We're not using bold, we're using the regular one. Once again, you're going to download that by clicking that arrow pointing down. I should already have this on my computer, but I'm going to double click that and make sure, yes, it is installed. We are good to go. So now I'm going to hop back over to Design Space.
I'm going to grab my text box. I'm going to pull it in front here, and I'm going to change my font from the one we had to Signature, MGL Signature, and we're going to have a Holly Jolly Christmas. So I'm going to do have a Holly Jolly Christmas like this. And I'm actually going to put a space between my S and my apostrophe because it's quite close when you don't put a space. So you could, if you wanted to, leave it like this. But to me, this does not look super duper professional. So what we need to do is we need to bring this line spacing together. You can do that a couple different ways. You can come up here to line spacing and you can lengthen it, or you can bring it together. But because this T and this J are going to cross, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm actually going to come up here to more and advanced. And actually, it shouldn't have that many drop-down menus. So if you close this window out over here on the left and you just come up here to advanced, if you ungroup to lines, that is going to ungroup all of these to their own individual line. So we are going to now manually move these together and get them to fit, and you can nestle them up together a lot easier this way. Make sure these are all center aligned, just like this. Okay, so I actually did a couple little tweaks. What I did is I duplicated and I made this exclamation point its own text box because I wanted it to be a little bit straighter than what it was. And you can see here I've kind of manipulated it and made it just a little bit smaller. But I'm very confident with how this is set up now. I need to double check and make sure that it is all under 12 inches, and it is. We're sitting at 10.5. So we could make it a little bit bigger if we wanted to, closer to 11.19. I think that is great. And now what I'm going to do so that they all cut together is I'm going to come down here to combine and unite that all together. So now I can, and actually what I may do, I think I want to move this guy up just a little bit more. Perfect. Once I have done that, I can now go to make it. Now I do need to hide this square because we're not cutting the square, but we're going to go to make it. And I'm going to mirror this because we are cutting it with HTV. We're going to go to continue, and I'm going to cut this on everyday iron on. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to load my heat transfer vinyl onto my mat. Remember, we load heat transfer vinyl shiny side or carrier sheet side down. So I'm lining that up on my mat, carrier sheet down. Once I have that lined up, I'm going to grab my brayer, bray it down onto my mat. Go ahead and load that in. Now, while that is cutting, I need you to come over here, and I'm going to show you how we did this. I'm just going to be honest, I'm probably not going to take this completely off, but I do want to take this out to show you because we don't have another one of these frames. We don't have another one of these right now, but let me show you how we did this, and I can show you. We have actually just hot glued this down, so you will need, if you want to do it just like this, you will need a hot glue gun. But what we did is we took our fabric. You can see this is a yard. We have quite a bit left. If you wanted to go, you could probably go with 3/4 of a yard maybe. But what you are going to do is you are going to cut off the excess of the fabric around it. And then what we did is while this was down, leaving this, we just got some hot glued this, pulled it tight. You want to pull it tight as you glue it. And then once you're done there, we flipped it over to the back
And you can see we kind of just did like hospital corners, like you're making a bed. Folded this side down, glued, folded this side over and glued. So I don't want to completely take this off, but it really is pretty easy. And you can see what it looks like. One thing we could do, so we have a piece of poster board that is the size that I need it to be. So I think what I'm gonna do, so that I can really show you guys how to do this, I'm gonna cut this poster board down and I'm gonna round the corners and we're gonna put this fabric on this poster board. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm just taking my True Control knife, so what I'm doing, and if you do this and you want to make multiple of these for this, here, let me go. I'm just taking my True Control knife and I'm going to round these corners like this. Now I'm gonna bring this one in. We're gonna, it doesn't have to be perfect. We just kind of gotta make it fit. So now, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover this poster board. Hear me out. I'm going to go grab my hot glue gun and we're gonna cover this poster board with that fabric so that we can change out the colors with this. So I'm gonna let my hot glue gun heat up. I am going to unload my mat here. I'm gonna go ahead, cut the excess off the bottom here. And we're gonna weed this. And then by the time we get done weeding, our hot glue gun should be now that we have that weeded, we will put it on our flag here in a minute, but our hot glue gun has heated up. So we're just gonna go ahead and add our fabric onto this poster board so that we can have kind of an interchangeable little design. So I'm gonna lay this out here first, just like this. So what we did, we started like right here in the corner. We're gonna grab our hot glue gun and we're just gonna add some hot glue there. Lay that down. Pull it tight. Now this would be maybe an instance where having a more industrial size hot glue gun might help you. So after that, we work from this side. So we're just going to add some here. Remember, we only have so much time to work with hot glue. So laying that down like that. Then we'll start working our way this way. And then finishing that out in that corner. Now I'm gonna give my hot glue gun a little bit of time to heat back up. While that is happening, I'm gonna turn this over and I'm gonna cut off some excess here. I'm leaving about 3 finger widths from the edge of the poster board. Maybe a little bit. So going all the way over to this corner. There's the corner. And then same thing down this edge. I'm just gonna turn this and we're going to cut down this edge as well. So we'll find the end of our poster board, which is there.
Like that. And now we are ready to turn it over, and then we're going to glue this around the back. So we're going to start here on this edge, and I'm actually putting the glue on the fabric versus the poster board because I'm not really sure like where it's going to hit on the poster board, so I'm putting it on the fabric. And we're going to glue it down that way first. Now this corner, because it is rounded, is going to be a little bit different, so I'm just going to in here and onto the poster board. And then once I get that corner, you see how I did this corner? Look right here. You see how I did this corner? Once I did that, I'm going to add it to the fabric again. I'm gonna run out of hot glue. Let's get another hot glue stick real quick. Maybe 3 or 4. Oh, here's the extra long ones. That's what I need. I'm gonna do that right there. Now I'm turning these corners, so I'm folding it up against, and we're gonna fold it straight this way, like this. And then I'm gonna fold this down like this, right here. And actually I'm gonna hold that in and kind of fold it right there. We really are doing bougie on a budget with this. Budget materials, and we're getting multiple uses out of this poster frame. Ain't no doubt about it. Okay, once again, I'm gonna tuck this corner like this. Got a little close on this side. And I'm actually fold this in on itself, and then we're gonna glue this corner down too. And then the last one, we're gonna glue this corner down. So now we have the fabric part on a piece of poster board, so we can interchange those colors. Look how cute. Now, I'm gonna bring my flag in here. I'm gonna take this tag off. I feel like I have little pieces of red HTV stuck to this for some reason, so I'm gonna get those off. So I have my heat press on a heat setting of 2. I'm actually gonna iron out, let me move it off of this. I'm gonna iron out the creases a little bit, and then position my words here. And all we did from there to complete this project, I'll move you back out here, is we hot glued that down, and I'm gonna hot glue it toward me just because I need to be able to see it. So we just laid this down, and then we're just gonna grab some more hot glue. I'm gonna start on this corner. Now I don't have to tack it down a lot because it's gonna be inside the frame, so I'm just gonna tack it down on the corners, to be real honest. We'll tack this corner down right here at the top with that grommet. And now, here is this. Let's put it in the frame and see how it looks. So I'm gonna bring my frame back in here. Oh wait, I was on the front side. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Okay. lay this down inside our frame and close these up. And look how stinking cute. Look how cute. So now we have two different variations that we can use depending on our decor. So you can do it with the cardboard that comes in this poster frame. But if you want to have another variation, I just showed you that you can do it with poster board. All you have to do is cut the poster board down. Super simple.